All right, guys, today we're going to talk about shortcuts. Shortcuts, probably most of the people watching this video think this is some kind of a clickbait where I'm going to be like, promising a shortcut, and then, when I get into the video, I'm like, just kidding, there is no such thing as a shortcut. You got to work forever to get anything. But that's not true. I certainly do believe in shortcuts, at least this one particular shortcut that I'm going to go into right now. Why is it that there are people that, their whole lives, they really try to make money and I want to be a millionaire and whatever, and they never really get that far at all, or if they do, it takes forever, okay? And they have setbacks, and then they quit, and then they start again. And then there are other people that just go boom, 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 boom. They just start making money, and then they start investing money, and then they start creating a business, and then, it goes and goes, and all of a sudden, in like the shortest amount of time, they're making a hell of a lot of money. Like, where did this come from? When somebody else is just beating his head against the wall for years and never accomplishes what that person accomplished in a short amount of time. The same thing with, getting in shape. How many people have really gotten in shape in their lives, especially the people that were really in bad shape and the people that got into really good shape? Okay, how often does that happen at all? Much less how often does it happen quickly. But everybody knows I started this anaerobics channel years ago, but I started it after I lost almost 40 pounds in under 4 months. I went from being really out of shape and really fat to being in really damn good shape. How did I do that? How did I do this in like 3.5 months, where other people, try for years and never get into the shape that I got into? Okay? Speaking about YouTube channels, one of the reasons why I decided to do this video right now was because of a guy called Nick Strength and Power. Okay? I was watching a video he did, I want to say it was on New Year's Eve, because he said on New Year's Eve, he had 250,000 subscribers. He went from like 15,000 subscribers at the beginning of the year. 12 months later, he had 250,000 YouTube subscribers. How come he does that so much, so well, so quickly, becomes so well known and grows so quickly in such a short amount of time, whereas other people struggle forever? And I'm going to tell you who came up with this shortcut, the one shortcut that really works. And it's a guy who all the kids out there are probably not going to know who the hell he is. It's a guy called Marco Lala. Back in the day, before there was MMA fighting, there was NHB fighting, no holds barred fighting, okay? There was no such thing as the martial art of MMA or the UFC martial art. Basically, it was just a bunch of people that, learned how to kick and punch, or learned how to grapple, maybe learned a little bit of both, and they were just integrating it the best they can in fighting. And Marco Lala was a black belt, and I think he won like a major tournament in New York City in Kyokushin karate, okay? Bare knuckle, full contact, no elbows or punches to the head, but kicks and knees to the head, full contact, punches and elbows and everything to the whole body. Really hard stuff, and he's a tournament champion in that. He also is really good at judo, and he won a couple judo competitions. So he was one of the first people to put out some really good information. In the comments below, please tell me if you're old enough to remember this guy, okay? Marco Lala. He put out some of the very best instructional videos on grappling, boxing, karate, kicking, MMA that ever came out. And I think he's one of the best MMA instructors ever. And he's not even in MMA anymore. Believe it or not, he's not into karate. I mean, he probably still trains, but he doesn't teach karate or judo anymore. Believe it or not, he wanted to get a new school and found out how much his real estate agent was making, and he gave up being a martial arts instructor to become a real estate agent. Which is funny because I'm getting out of real estate to go into online training and online marketing, and he got out of working online and selling videos through the mail, and now he's in real estate. So I'm doing basically the opposite of what he did. But anyway, he wrote a couple books. One of them was a little booklet called Phenomenal Endurance Training, which was awesome book, the best book that I ever thought. Even though it's a teeny flimsy little booklet, it was awesome. worth its weight in gold in terms of martial arts endurance training. And he also wrote a book called Phenomenal Strength Training. And I think that's the book where, because that was a thicker book, I think that's the book where he actually mentioned what the shortcut was to success. And what he said is, the shortcut to success is doing things right the first time. And it's true. If you show me somebody who's been screwing around for years, you're basically going to show me somebody who hasn't been focused, hasn't had a plan, and hasn't researched his plan to make sure that it would work the first time. Okay? For instance, like I said, this guy with Nick Strength and Power, he listed all these concepts that he had that he used to build his channel. One of them was consistency. One of them was frequency of uploads. I mean, it's basically, why did I have this channel for years and I never really built it up that much? I got like 4,000 subscribers after years now. Because, I started it up and then I really, didn't do much. And then I was doing real estate for a while. And then I wanted to start it up, but I couldn't really straddle between real estate and, and YouTube at the same time. And et cetera, and et cetera. And I never really thought about, like, what's the best way to do this. And right now, I gave up real estate. I'm out of real estate, and I'm concentrating 100% of my effort into this YouTube channel and building up this brand. Okay, I'm thinking about this 24 hours a day. I'm watching videos, reading books about how to, grow this channel faster. Thinking about, what could I do? What videos do people like? What could I do to make this better? How could I improve, the technology I'm using, the production? How can, everything I'm thinking about is basically how to build up this channel. And I'm trying to, come up with some hard ideas, some hard facts that I can use to build it up. And I'm trying to improve it constantly. Okay? It's the same thing like, with fitness. And, this is not a plug for my online training. Although if you want to get online training from me, go in the description below and you'll get a link to the page of my website where I describe what I offer. But why do you get a trainer? Why do you get a nutritionist? Because, we know how to do things right the first time. How many times do you see a person who wants to get into shape and they go on like a starvation diet, okay? And then, they're just totally, starving and, they have no energy, so then they don't really go to the gym, or if they go to the gym, they don't really do very well, and then maybe they get injured, or maybe they say, screw this, I can't handle this anymore, I need a cheat day, or they just go completely off their diet, and they go on a bender, and maybe they lost a couple pounds, but now all of a sudden they have to they gained back the weight they lost, plus more, because they went from a week or 2 weeks or a month just eating everything in sight because they just overdid it. I mean, a lot of times when I get somebody for online training, and it really depends, these days that I have more people following me on YouTube, I get a whole lot of people, they're like, listen, I've been doing keto, this is my experience, this is my resume, so to speak, and it makes sense. I could actually talk to the people and be like, okay, great, well, you're already doing intermittent fasting, so let's stick with that. You're already on keto, you're stalling out, let's do, a little like a cycle of the pure protein diet, and just jumpstart your weight loss again, stuff like that, So what I'm basically saying is, when you do things right the first time, you make improvements. Now, making consistent improvements means that you're going to stay motivated. Staying motivated means you're going to seek out the information you need and, the support you need to make more improvements, which improves, your motivation even more, which keeps you going and keeps you going and keeps you going. But if you do something like, when I was teaching security guys in Europe, we had a PT test once a year, and there's always the person that goes on the starvation diet because they know they're too fat and too overweight to be able to run. So what do? I know one girl, she was eating an apple a day. She did that for about 3 days, and then she passed out on post. So they called the ambulance. I mean, she was okay. They basically just gave her, I don't know, some glucose, orally or something like that, because she had low blood sugar and she hadn't eaten anything except for an apple a day for 3 days, so she passed out. But, I mean, what good did that do her? So what I'm basically trying to say is, let's say, she had somebody to tell her what to do, like how to intelligently lose weight. Like, this is the least you can do to lose a lot of weight. Okay, now do this little bit to lose more weight. Now do this little bit to lose more weight, and constantly building instead of just jumping around. I mean, it doesn't help to go on a starvation diet and then binge. It doesn't help to go on a starvation diet and then pass out. It doesn't help to go low carb for 3 days and then realize you can't handle no carbs, so then you go high carb for 3 days, and then you go paleo, and then you go if it fits your macros, and then you just go on a bender and just eat everything in sight, and then you start the cycle over again. So what I'm basically saying is, like I said, the most important thing, if you really want to have an overnight success, if you really want to start improving and keep improving, which is good for your motivation and gets you quick, consistent results, definitely make sure you come up with a plan that works and you do things right the first time, and that doing things right the first time is the only real shortcut to success.